right, welcome back, everybody, to
Hello.
Chris and his Bible for the Church 520 weekend recap.
What, week 4?
Yeah, Quattro, we made it to week 4. Fantastic.
Yeah.
So, last week we talked about the omnipotence of God.
Mm-hmm.
This last weekend, we talked about another attribute of God because that's what we're going through right now.
Yes. Yes, it is.
And we went through, what was it?
Omniscience.
Omniscience, right. And just to break that down, fancy word for just meaning all-knowing, right? He's a know-it-all.
But in like a good way.
Yes, in a good way. Not a lording it over you way, right?
Yeah.
So we looked at some passages that would let us know that God knows it all, right? Like Psalms 139.
Yeah, it's
1
my
through
favorite.
4.
That's my favorite passage.
It says, "O Lord, you have searched me and known me. You know my sitting down and my rising up. You understand my thought afar off. You comprehend my path and my lying down, and are acquainted with all my ways. For there is not a word on my tongue, but behold, O Lord, you know it altogether."
It's a really good chapter.
Yeah,
It's my favorite chapter.
he knows it all, even before you say it. He's in your head.
Okay, you sound crazy.
But yeah,
But
so
like, yes.
he knows it all. And if you think about it, think about a time you've made something, right? Where you've put something together, like a craft or a recipe, or something like, for me, an engine of some sort. You kind of know how everything works because you put it together. You know what pieces went where.
At least by the end of it.
Yeah. You know what ingredients goes with what and how it'll work together. Right? Same thing goes for God and his creation. He knows everything about it because, well, he put it together.
It made it.
Right?
Yeah.
So, yeah. And then we had Jeremiah 1:5, the first part of the 5th verse. It says, "Before I formed you in the womb, I knew you." So, even he had foreknowledge even before Jeremiah was formed.
Yeah. That's knowledge. Infinity in both ways. Not just current time knowledge. That's
Right.
all time knowledge.
Right.
Yeah,
So he
that's
has
what I
a
meant.
knowledge that supersedes our timeline.
Yes, that's a nice way to say it.
Even so much so that he had foreknowledge of what was going to happen to Jesus, right?
That is true.
Right? And even though he knew that inevitably the Jewish nation was going to reject Christ, he sent him anyway, right?
Yeah.
He still had him go to the cross and still had him do the thing, right? Because that's what humanity needed. It says in Acts 2:22 through 24, "Men of Israel, hear these words. Jesus of Nazareth, a man attested by God to you by miracles, wonders, and signs, which God did through him in your midst, as you yourselves also know him, being delivered by the determined purpose and foreknowledge of God, you have taken by lawless hands, have crucified and put to death, whom God raised up, having loosed the pains of death, because it was not possible that he should be held by it." Right? So even though God had foreknowledge of what was going to happen, he knew it needed to happen and still had it happen anyway. And like we said, his knowledge is outside of our timeline. So he knew this was going to happen before even Adam was formed, right?
Yeah.
And did it anyway.
Yep.
So does anything surprise God?
No.
How so?
Well, he knows everything. If you know, you're not surprised.
Yeah.
So
how does this help you encounter life if nothing surprises him?
I mean, things surprise me, but whatever comes.
Right.
It's not a surprise to God, so even though I might be scared of things or something, like, it's go out and live.
Right.
Because, like, I don't know, but God does, so.
Yeah. Well, and it also helps that when we get in situations that we don't know, if God already knows how it's all going to play out, we can rest in the fact that he's got it handled, right?
Yeah.
So just like the Thessalonians had people telling them, oh, well, you missed the rapture, so therefore you're just being silly. And I got them all concerned, and then Paul wrote them and said, nope, these things haven't happened yet, and God's got it. Don't worry. You haven't missed the rapture, so don't worry about things that, one, are out of your control, but two, God's got it, and he's got it, gonna get you through it. So even though God knew humanity was going to do what they did he ever say, oh, I'm done with humanity?
No.
No, right? He sent Jesus. Yeah.
Yeah, he did.
Okay. All right. Even after time and time again that they rejected him, and even by the stoning of Stephen, still never gave up, right? And
You're saying right a lot tonight.
okay.
Sorry. You just kept saying right. I was like, yes, that is the truth, bro. Yeah, I called you bro tonight.
Bro.
Continue.
All right, so how do we apply to our lives? How do we let it affect our lives that God knows everything?
I would just say live your life. Live for God. Like, just move about life.
Yeah.
And if he knows everything, then it's just, I think if we maybe ask for a bit of that knowledge, like Solomon asked for wisdom, if he's got all of the knowledge, then go to him where he is, find out some of his knowledge by studying, and then know that, like, he already knows everything about you, so don't worry about the little things. Live life, tell people about him, grow in your knowledge of him, but just don't be so scared about the day in and day out, because he's already got it. And if you know him, like, you know where you're going to be.
Right.
So no reason to be scared.
So yeah, you hit our key application points, and that is, you have to know God in order to know his knowledge. And how do you do that? By studying.
Yeah.
Because all of Scripture is good for guiding us and guiding our footsteps, and also changing our minds to be more like his.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
And then we have to ask in prayer that we understand more his knowledge, right? And he's good to help us understand
Mm-hmm.
because he wants us to be more like him and more understanding and showing his will and purpose in this world. And
Mm-hmm.
also, I mean, one of the big ones is also rest in the fact that God's got it. He's going to handle it. And Romans 8 talks about how he makes everything work towards the good of his people according to his purpose, right?
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't necessarily mean that life is
all
going to be
gonna be a
rosy.
millionaire.
Right. It
Mm-hmm.
just means that according to his purpose, it's all going to work out in the end and we're going to be victorious with him.
Yeah.
Right?
I don't believe like working everything out, meaning you're not gonna have a hard life.
Right.
I think it's in the end.
For sure.
It's you're gonna be right.
Right. Because, I mean, inevitably there's crazy people within this world that it's not just going to be rosy.
Mm-hmm.
And you're one of the crazy people in this world, so you're going to cause problems for yourself as well.
Right.
Right? So.
I think a lot of times the problems come a lot from ourselves rather
What?
than other people.
No way.
Mm-hmm.
For sure. So that's what we talked about this week.
Yeah.
About how he's there, he knows everything, and building off of the fact that we know he's all powerful.
Mm-hmm.
This next week we will be talking about how he is everywhere.
All places.
All places.
Mm-hmm.
So
All powerful, all knowledgeable, all places.
Yep. And in case you were wondering,
everywhere. Yeah.
menu this last week was taco bar.
We had a taco bar.
Yeah. Taco bar and nachos and stuff, which was fantastic. Don't know what this week's
And
gonna
some
bring,
hibiscus
but
juice.
oh yeah, we did
It
have a
was
hibiscus
legit.
juice.
I love hibiscus juice.
So, if you're wondering what the meal may be this week, well, why don't you show up?
Show up. Come on
And
over.
join us, right?
Yeah.
4 on Sunday.
4 p.m.
Yep, this Sunday. Next Sunday, we're going to do something a little different
Because it's the Super Bowl.
because we're going to have the Super Bowl. So we're going to
Do church a little earlier.
church early, and then we're going to do a party afterwards. Right?
Yeah.
So that'll be fun and phantasmo. But that was just a quick little update of what we went through this last week.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us. We'll talk to you later. Bye.
Bye.